My grandfather was a farmer. He lived from the land and with the rhythm of the seasons. My other grandfather was a teacher who took his children outside to learn from nature. And my father was a doctor who believed in the science of healing. I stand before you with the heart, mind, and soul of the farmer, the teacher, and the doctor, as I will show you how nature makes us healthier, happier, and smarter. But first things first, good morning. Thank you for being here. I have the honor to open this day, so I would like to take a minute to allow us to get present. Right here, right now. Okay. With the 4-3-2-1 presence hack. Are you afraid? Here we go. First of all, look around. What colors do you see? Pick 4 and say them in your mind. Now 3 sounds. You can close your eyes if it's easier. 3 sounds. The humming, voices, 3 sounds. Now 2 smells. And finally, 1 texture. It could be the clothes on your skin. Now you can open your eyes if you had them closed and smile. This is a great hack to get present anytime during the day when you're feeling distracted. In fact, I wish I had this hack when I was living life in the fast lane in Atlanta and New York, working hard, working late, 80-hour weeks, creating shareholder value. Feeling lonely sometimes, but pushing it away with more work, more thinking, more doing, more, until my body crashed, saying, stop! No more. And I was out for 6 weeks. This was a humbling experience, but it allowed me to get more present and make different choices. And those choices led me to the Antwerp Zoo Foundation. And for the last 20 years, I have been bringing people closer to nature. And nature has become my medicine. Because I've personally experienced her healing powers. And I've witnessed them with others. Which is why I believe everybody should be making time for nature. Why? Because we have a problem. It's called nature deficit disorder. And because we're organically, biologically connected to nature, it's called biophilia. And because it is more important than ever to make time for nature, to offset our screen time, we'll call it organic time. Do you remember biking through the fields? Camping, climbing trees, chasing butterflies, picking wildflowers, diving through piles of autumn leaves. I did all of that. You probably did too, right? But today, children are different. They spend most of their time indoors, gaming, social media, being bombarded with fear and fake news, scrolling through posts of influencers whose lives look so much better than theirs. Screens are addictive, and our children are becoming more and more obese, depressed, and lonely. And it's not much different for adults. 1 out of 2 Belgian adults feels lonely. That's you or me. And worldwide, 100 people die every hour of loneliness. That's 100 people every hour. So connected technologically and so lonely. Why? Because we need community. We need a sense of belonging. We need real human time away from the screens. It's a basic need that so many of us are missing. And so we're feeling disconnected. Disconnected from ourselves, disconnected from each other, and disconnected from nature. Which Richard Louv, the American author and journalist, is calling nature deficit disorder. In his book, The Last Child of the Woods, he writes that nature is as important to us as food or sleep. Nature is as important to us as food or sleep. And we suffer if we don't get enough of it. We suffer if we don't get enough of it. Do you get enough of it? How about your kids? But he also writes that having a connection with nature can actually battle obesity, depression, and loneliness. And that we should include nature as medicine in our treatments. Like some American pediatricians are already doing, prescribing nature time for kids. School children with access to green spaces perform better. Higher grades, less DHD. Why? Because our brains love nature. We all know we need to take breaks, right? To clear our head. How many of us are just working through lunch? Now, if I were to tell you, together with the University of Utah, that nature actually increases memory, attention span, and problem solving 50%. Would that encourage you enough to take those breaks, preferably outside under a tree? Or how about meeting outside while walking or after walk? Because meetings are also better with nature in it, especially when they include walking. 25% more productive, says Harvard, 60% more creative, according to Stanford University. Like 60% more creative. Imagine if we were to hold our meetings or brainstorming sessions outside, under a tree, after a walk. Because it's not just our brains that love nature, our bodies too. Spending time in nature can actually increase the production of dopamine, serotonin, lower cortisol, and increase our endorphins that reduce stress, depression, and fear. And the good news is you don't even have to be in nature. Even the view on nature or the proximity on nature has already rewarding effects. Urban areas with more green spaces report less mental distress. Patients in hospital wings that look out on a green park recover faster, up to 1 day. Because of this. Because we are biologically connected to nature. It's called biophilia, from the Greek root love of life. It's a term that was first coined by a Harvard professor, an evolutionary biologist, Edward Wilson. He writes that humans have an inherent biological connection to nature. An inherent biological connection. We're born with it. That's why we feel so good after a forest walk. Nature makes us happier. Biophilia also explains the success of all sorts of nature initiatives, such as rewilding programs for overstimulated kids, addicted adults, or even US veterans returning from war. And you've all heard about forest bathing, the Japanese stress management practice. It's really great. Who has tried it? Yeah, it's great, isn't it? You just need to make time in your schedule. And did you know that biophilic principles have also been adopted by architecture? It's called biophilic design. And it's being used in schools, in hospitals, in retail, workplaces. And in urban environments, because trees make cities more livable during heat waves. And we're going to get more heat waves. And it's not just about trees and bringing plants inside, it's about incorporating as many of the elements, patterns, texture, materials, and the five senses. So, biophilic design. So, nature makes us happier, healthier, and smarter. And we suffer if we don't get enough of it because we're biologically connected. Nature does something else, something that becomes more and more important as we have more screen time. Nature invites us to slow down and reconnect with real life away from the screens. To have some human connection, nature time is our organic time. This beautiful quote, we're having some technical problems here today, which is nothing compared to a main stage that is burned up to the ground, I guess. Okay, right, we're back here. I'm going to let you read this quote. It's from an American filmmaker, Emmanuel von Lee, who writes beautiful, and he's got this beautiful quote about time. But I'm going to give you a few seconds to just read it. In the meantime, there's people joining. Welcome, welcome. That's wonderful. Okay, that's enough, right? Okay, we're busy. We're rushing from meeting to meeting, crossing off a never-ending to-do list, trying to squeeze a week's worth into a single day, hoping to catch a breath at the weekend. But the weekend is full of kids' activities and home chores, and we're chasing through another busy schedule, making sure to get some exercise in so we can keep going and repeat it all over again on Monday. Anybody recognize this? Oh, and have you noticed how often we use the word must? Ik moet, je dois. We manage, we plan, and we measure our lives in terms of productivity and efficiency. We want more of what we want, and we want it now. We want it now. Nature is not like that. A flower doesn't bloom on demand. And the rain doesn't stop because we want it to. They move with the seasons and the rhythm of the earth, like our ancestors did, whose lives were more like a flowing river instead of a ticking clock. We have watches that measure our lives, but we have no time. J'ai pas de temps. Ik heb geen tijd, ik heb te druk. The necessity of organic time is proven by success stories like the Offline Club. I'm sure you can sense what that is about. Organic time, time to wonder, to just be, dolce far niente, to be open to life, to have space for deeper listening to ourselves and to each other, to make meaningful connections. What is your favorite way to connect offline? Does it include nature? Are there any animals involved? Did you know that each animal embodies qualities of organic time in their own unique way? And they probably speak to you differently, but today I would like for you to meet owl, elephant, and salmon. They will teach us about presence, authenticity, and a sense of belonging. We're going a bit fast. Our technology is challenging. Here's owl. Picture a majestic owl, right? Okay, let's stick to the owl first. Picture a majestic owl. Perched quietly on a branch. It absorbs everything, every sound, every movement. When it sees a flicker of movement, a mouse darting through the grass, the owl pivots, holds, and then swoops down for its prey. The wise owl combines the patience of a sage with the fierce purpose of a hunter. It sits still, but it is not inactive. It listens intently and moves deliberately. It listens intently and moves deliberately. Did I have owl time today, or do I need owl time today? Could be a question to ask ourselves. Since my years in the fast lane, my life has become more organic, closer to what matters, closer to nature. I love my morning walks in the nearby forest. They get me more grounded, more focused, and more authentic. I look less for answers outside myself and take time to go within and listen to my natural intelligence and intuition. I hope you do the same, because in a world full of fake, authenticity is an asset. And you know who's really good at it? Is elephants. Elephants are a great example of being true to their emotions and following their gut. They live in close family groups led by the matriarch. And when she senses an approaching storm, she gathers her herd, and leads them to safety. And when they lose a companion, elephants mourn by gathering around the remains and touching them with their tusk. Be Like Elephant could be walking barefoot on the grass, feet firmly rooted to the ground, getting out of our heads and becoming more aware of how we really feel. Organic time is not linear. It moves with the seasons and allows things to emerge at their own pace, allowing things to grow, rest, and renewal, not swimming against the stream. Except for salmon. It is the nature of salmon to swim upstream, to spawn. They are born in freshwater. They migrate to the ocean where they grow and mature, and they return each year to their place of birth to spawn. Now, this seasonal spawning is crucial for the survival of the species, but it also nourishes the rivers and countless species along the way. The salmon has a unique place in the balance of the ecosystem. How wonderful would it be if we were all to experience such sense of purpose and belonging, and to move against the stream when necessary, and to learn from salmon that life is both. Swimming upstream and downstream, both struggle and flow. So let's be more like owl, elephant, and salmon, present, authentic, and with a sense of belonging to an interconnected world where we have stepped out of the rat race of human doing and into organic time of human being. Now, if you're inspired by forest bathing or by meetings, by walking, bringing nature inside, that's great. How you connect doesn't matter, just make time for nature. It is medicine in our virtual world. Because nature is not just a place to visit. It is our home. Now, we don't want to be home alone. So here's one last question. How about walking each other home? If you want to know more, book me for a talk. You can contact me on LinkedIn. Thank you.